at the moment, America doesn't build many ships, maybe 10 ships a year. It's very expensive to build them here in America. And there's this new Ships Act that wants to build 250 new ships in the next 10 years. If America is going to do that, it's going to have to tap into the Thomas Edison, the Lewis and Clark, the Kaiser shipyards. Dare I say Elon Musk? I think Elon Musk is going to have a big say in how, if that legislation is passed and 250 ships have to be built, they can't cost 3 or 4 times more than the market average, which presently they do in America. So they're going to have to find a better way of doing it. And a lot of people in the industry say to me, it's not going to be possible. But I think that sort of neglects the essence of American innovation, which is anything is possible.
So we're in that draft and legislation act. We're talking about that United States are trying to compete with China, because we know that I saw this yesterday in Wall Street Journal that China is building 78% of ships that are like container carriers.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's going to be hard. And how? How can we because in the United States, labor is more expensive.
Yep.
We're trying to, pursue those labor goals. What I mean by that, we're trying not to push people really hard, giving them, vacations, giving them benefits. And in China, they're apparently not doing that. And this is, I think, partially how they're able to build that fast. And especially, I saw this article, the way how they build, they have those huge facilities. And, when you have this manufacturing process set, it's way easier. Yeah. And in the United States, we don't have it now. As you mentioned, we build 10 ships?
What I would say is, America's looking to build 250 ships over 10 years.
Is it possible?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, 250 ships over 10 years. I mean, these Chinese shipyards are building 80 ships a year.
Okay.
So, it's about America. Well, it's really about American security. I mean, that's what Trump is about. So Panama Canal, Greenland, this is about American maritime security. So building 250 new ships, I think that's going to get passed by Congress. Mm-hmm. I think Trump is going to be very supportive of it. So it's eminently possible. I know a lot of people would say it isn't, but I think it is. But American shipyards do need to find a way of doing it more efficiently. I don't know what that necessarily is. I know that Del Toro, I think under the Biden administration, he was doing a lot of research. He was going to Korean shipyards, looking at how they build. And obviously there's a lot of foreign-owned shipbuilders operating in the US, from BAE to Fincantieri, so to the Hanwha Group, I think it is, Korean shipbuilder now running the Philly shipyard. And I think what Del Toro was saying is that there needs to be more competition between the yards to drive efficiencies. But I think if you've got somebody like Musk in the mix, and you look at how Musk drove innovation and slashed cost out of the rocket industry, I think that's the way it's going to go in shipbuilding. I think it's a good thing that Trump is very, very interested in maritime, because maritime is so often, in the shadows, doing its thing. All this sea blindness. Public's unaware of maritime carrying 90%, 80% of visible goods. And we're so dependent on maritime, and Trump is highlighting that now because China has become this maritime superpower. It's from seemingly nowhere, like in 2000, where I think it built less than 9% or something of ships. It's now building more than 50%. And that presents a security issue for America. So America's finally waking up to this. And it's not going to be easy, but I think it's doable. And as I say, 250 new ships over 10 years, well, some Chinese shipyards individually are building 70 ships in a year. So, it's got to be possible, I think.
Well, so we know that building ships require a lot of metal and aluminum or aluminium. And
yeah, aluminium, that's how I know it, yeah.
So, and we know that they impose 25% tariff on aluminum and on metals. And it's going to be, so America by themselves, we produce metal and aluminum, but majority of that metals goes from China. And this is, I believe, how they're able to build those ships, because they have this source right there in China. But in our case, in American case, I heard this and I saw the article that producing metal here and aluminum is so expensive. So what I'm thinking about, you were saying about Elon Musk. And so what I hear from you, we basically need one more Elon Musk, but in maritime industry.
Look, nobody says it's easy. And, I don't know what they're going to do about the steel issue and whether it's too expensive or not. The key is to find the way. And I think Del Toro, who was in charge of sort of shipping under Biden, he started the process. And so the Ships Act was announced in December 2024. And that's a serious piece of cross-party legislation. So the conversation is now being had. And I think last night it was announced that there's going to be a new shipbuilding office. So the conversation is being had. And now the difficult sort of questions need to be addressed. But, this is the country that got the Apollo 13 back to Earth. And so, failure, as they say, is not an option. And that's the American, at its best, that's the American mentality. So you've got to find a way. And, whether you like Trump or not, he is an entrepreneur. He is a disruptor. And he's looking for new answers to get stuff done. And so for maritime businesses, we're in this sort of new era where maritime is much higher profile. And as an industry, we have to get behind that, particularly here in the Midwest, because the Midwest got a lot of manufacturing businesses, marine equipment manufacturers. It's got shipyards with Fincantieri and Fraser and some others. We want to be bringing a lot of that work here to the Great Lakes, to the Midwest. The Midwest is the industrial heartland of America. But we got to get our act together. And as you know, one of the things that I do is I help to run the Chicago Propeller Club, which is maritime industry networking, and that exists to recycle opportunities within the maritime community here, raise awareness of maritime, and share opportunities. And with the new Ships Act, with Trump giving maritime a much bigger profile, this is an opportunity for us. It's an opportunity for us to encourage people to go into maritime careers, to see it maritime as an exciting industry that offers jobs, exciting jobs for people of all academic abilities, for people across industries. And it's likely to create a lot of work, a lot of additional work. So there's a lot of ships being built for the supply chain. That's fantastic for those of us in the supply chain, whether it's engineering companies, whether it's professional services companies. So this is potentially very, very good for us. But certainly in the Midwest, we've got to get behind this legislation and showcase our capabilities. And I think a big thing for the Great Lakes in particular is to encourage more freight into the Great Lakes. At the moment, only it's 50% capacity and declining. We've got to encourage more freight forwarders to use the Great Lakes, whether that's Canada and America or even Europe. Transport your cargo direct to the heartland of America using the St. Lawrence Seaway and the Great Lakes, rather than dumping all of the stuff at an East Coast port where it can be very congested, and then railing it to the Midwest. You know, we've got to champion the Midwest so we get a share of the Ships Act pie, if you like.
So you mentioned that, you know, like the amount of ships that are basically coming from, let's say, Europe or Canada declining like 50%. And you know about Panama, right? And yesterday it got announced that they struck the deal. So BlackRock bought 43, I believe, ports from this Hong Kong company.
Yeah, Hutchinson, yeah.
Yes, for 22.8 billion. It's a Panama Channel. So those ports are pretty close to the Panama Channel.
Yeah.
And so it kind of looks like America betting on, shipbuilding inside the America, but at the same time, they are betting on this Panama Channel that is being the main route for those like cargoes, military ships, etc. And my question is, doesn't that look like they're trying to, they're basically trying to move attention from our ports, American ports, to the more like Panama Channel and, go here, use this one. And especially, again, Canada, they're being really not happy about what's going on now. Europe either, and there is a high chance that they're not going to use Great Lakes.
I think the Panama Canal is about maritime security. The amount of American freight naval vessels going through the Panama Canal, I don't know if it's that much, really, but it's about maritime security. So America is sort of asserting itself, and we're seeing that the president is a negotiator, and he's a brilliant negotiator, and he creates leverage. So I think what we're seeing at the moment is a lot of disruption. And I think things will settle down, but we're seeing a lot of disruption because he's trying to negotiate, get leverage. It's difficult to see how it's going to pan out right now, but I think the maritime industry has been around for millennia. Okay, it's not like the tech industry.
Yeah,
it's been around for about 100 years. The maritime industry has been around for hundreds of years in a serious commercial way. So we're used to sort of rocky weather, and it will always be there because there is no other option for transporting liquid bulk